I'm Robert Dakota of Worldviews Media, and I'm here to introduce you to Laurie McDonald. She's going to be one of the speakers at Earth Origins. We've changed the dates and turned the live stream into a live streaming webinar, which will start on May 11th and end on May 17th, and we'll have 2 to 3 speakers per day. Laurie's going to start off as the first speaker, and I invited her to this little intro today so she could tell you more about what you're going to experience and what she does. Thank you, Laurie.
Well, thank you, Robert. It's such a wonderful event that you're hosting. And of course, the time couldn't be better. It's really a great opportunity for people to begin to learn about themselves, the human aspect of being human, where it began, where it goes, what our next step is from here. I'm a clinical hypnotherapist in Sacramento, California. And I've been doing that since the early 90s. I'm also an abduction researcher. So I'm very interested in the phenomenology of ufology as it pertains to the abductions and how that affects the consciousness and how that may or may not change a person's world or their life, how free they are to articulate their experiences and whom they choose to share it with. So I'm very lucky to have been able to interview people all over the world, on remote islands, in distant countries, here at home. And I've been able to gather an enormous amount of insight, primarily just by listening, and to hear them articulate what's happening. And so we see now that it's a time for great change. And this is our next step. And it's really ultimately up to us.
Yeah.
So also, I'm the president of an organization called OPUS, and that stands for the Organization for Paranormal Understanding and Support. And our board of directors are extremely qualified, and we offer a free 24-hour-a-day, 7-day-a-week online support group, so that at no time should anybody ever feel that they can't reach out, that they can't be heard, that they might not be understood. We're always there for you.
That's really cool. I'll put that information down so that people can connect with that too.
Yes, opusnetwork.org.
Nice, nice. So we had a good conversation yesterday, and I liked what you shared about going into a meditation about enough. Could you elaborate a little bit on that so people could understand what the meditation would be about?
Yes, I'm particularly sensitive to the duality or the dualistic meaning of words. And there's always a hard and a soft side of a word. And it's sort of our energetic attitude that creates the perception. And so focusing, concentrating, or meditating on the word enough, we begin to see that we can use that word in terms of we are good enough. We were born good enough. We'll always have enough. There'll be enough time. There'll be enough money. You'll get enough sleep. You know, if you look at the food on your plate, think that's probably just enough. And in doing so, the inner guard or witness inside of the self begins to lay the arms down. It begins to relax. It begins to see that we're okay, you know, and in this moment, nothing bad is happening and we have enough. So the word enough can begin to flag aspects of the subconscious mind and redirect that energy into a more positive view of it. You know, if you wake up at 4 o'clock in the morning, it's best to think, I've probably got enough sleep, as opposed to, oh no, I've only got 3 more hours. I better get back to sleep. I have to get up in 2 more hours and a half. That energy creates an angst and it creates imbalance, and it's unnecessary. When the flip side of it, in fact, is this beautiful garden planet is a planet of duality. And so for dark, there's light, for up, there's down, and so forth. So not enough, enough. And we are good enough.
Yeah, I really like that perspective because right now I know a lot of people are spinning their wheels. I know I have a few times.
It's also about trust, you see. When you begin to trust that you'll have enough, guess what? You'll have enough. So it's that relationship that you have with the universe. When the universe sees that you have faith and trust in a desired outcome, then that desired outcome shall be.
Mm-hmm.
But the universe is not a negative place. It really feeds back to us our truth, our desire, what it is that we really want. And so this creates that symbiotic relationship. But if you're always thinking, if nothing's going to happen for me, nothing ever works out, well, they've just received the message that nothing will work out, and that they believe is the desired outcome. And so that's what you receive. So in fact, we are quite responsible to manifest our thoughts, as we are man-made from a human, and we manufacture all that there is in this world with our thoughts, our beliefs.
Yeah, in the conversation we had yesterday, you mentioned the human. Could you elaborate on that a little bit again?
Yeah, it was during a meditation a few decades ago. And I had been meditating already for a good 12 or 15 years, but every time I meditated for this whole summer, I would pop out of my body and I would have these spontaneous out-of-body experiences, and I would sort of view myself, walk around myself and go, wow, you know, this is what I've learned. I'm still Laurie, whether I'm in the body or out of the body. And I began to realize what the word human meant. That hue is an older word, some might say ancient, for a measurement in the way in which we measure the depth or the saturation of light. That's how we measure that in hues. And man comes from the word manifestation, which means to come into the body, or to be embodied, or to come into the physical. A human is a light embodied being. And that is the definition of the word human, in that gender and race are simply subcategories of the definition of our particular entity. And so when you know what you are, you begin to see that you have the ability to differentiate between your fate and your destiny, in that we can fulfill our destiny, that when we realize we can expand the consciousness, that the soul, the light is eternal, the multidimensional self emerges, and we begin to see a much larger picture of not just our world, but the multiverse.
Mm. Yeah, the multiverse. Well, I know you just got done and got off of a pretty much full day's work and maybe still have a ways to go. So I want to thank you for this time. I just wanted to introduce everybody to you because I had such a wonderful conversation with you yesterday and
It was wonderful.
Yeah, and times before. So I thought, wow, I wanted everyone else to be able to know a little bit about who you are as well, so they can know what to look forward to.
Thank you. It's been a pleasure.
Yeah, a pleasure working with you as well, and everybody. Everybody's been so fluid, and we've been able to, at least create something to connect with people, because that's the main reason why I do these events. The education is great, but when you connect in a great atmosphere, that education really sinks in, and then you make some good connections as well.
And the energy begins to shift.
Yeah.
And people, when they feel connected, that sense of community, they feel secure, they feel safe, and they're able to tap into that potential they may have always sensed, but just haven't quite reached, and they're not quite sure why. But with some education, some information, a little self-development, we begin to move towards that path of self-actualization, living in a world that we want to live in, being the person we always thought we would be.
Yeah, nice. Very nice. Thank you so much, Laurie.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Yeah, well, everyone, this is Laurie McDonald, and she's going to be opening the space for us May 11th, and will be the first speaker. And then she'll also be closing the space on Sunday with a meditation. And so we have a lot to look forward to, and so much more. We have Bertram Savadawa, our Hopi brother, is going to be coming down here to Sedona, hopefully, to do a prayer online. And then he's going to talk about how the Hopi grow food to maybe inspire people to start growing their own food. And we have some other surprises. I'm just waiting for some confirmations. So, but I'm looking forward to recreating this even better than I thought it could be in person. And then when we can get together in November and physically celebrate overcoming all of this, I look forward to that.
Me too.
Okay, thank you so much, Laurie.
Thank you, Robert.